Okay, so next up we have WTF, our NFT Collector DAO. Lukas, welcome. I'll pass it over to you.
Thanks. Hi, everyone. My name is Lukas. I am the head curator at One of One, which is a collectors DAO based out of Switzerland. Cyberspace knows me as Scripted Fantasy, and I'm here to just give you a quick rundown of why we think collector DAOs are going to be an important thing in the space and how we approach what our ideas are about how approaching that. So I'm just going to kind of quickly dive into three of the many thesis points we have why NFT collections are going to be a huge thing. And being in New York City, I felt like starting with a local cause is a good approach. This is the fortnight version of Cause exhibition New Fiction that was put up by the Serpentine Gallery in London earlier this year. The Serpentine Gallery is one of the leading art institutions in the world. Hans-Ulrich Obrist, the curator of Serpentine, is known for pushing the boundaries of what kind of fine art can do. And he mirrored the exhibition they had at the Serpentine in Fortnite. Now, the thesis behind that is that, you know, Fortnite has a couple 100 million players in their game, whereas the premier art event in the world, which is the Venice Biennale, which runs for 6 months, has a total count of 250,000 visitors. Users is a good one. So NFTs and art NFTs especially, they open up entirely new audiences for creators. Thesis point number 2, we're going from a mono deity, the Mona Lisa, to networked Metcalfes, as I like to call them. Everybody knows the Mona Lisa, but you know, when we go to see it, you stand in line at the Louvre and you kind of come up and then you do your phone shot and then you walk away, and there's no kind of quantified network behind what everyone has seen. Now, because art or collectibles in NFTs are tied to smart contracts, you know, you kind of create a networked version of culture. All the participants of any given project can interact with each other. You know all this. The data is transparent. People can talk to each other, and we believe that this is going to basically create the Metcalfe's law for art. So, for those of you who aren't familiar with Metcalfe's law, the value of a network does exponentially develops with any additional participant in the network, and we will see a similar thing with culture, where the way culture is valued on the format of NFTs will go up exponentially with participating users. And then kind of culturally, we're shifting from like and share to collect, which you know, we do in our everyday lives anyway. All of you have records, all of you have books, all of you watch films, all of you have your favorite TV shows liked, but we're kind of doing that with cultural assets now in NFTs. As the head curator at One of One, I've been putting a lot of thought into what does it actually mean to collect and what is a framework for collecting things. And I've kind of found out that it's not going. Okay. Well, the next slide would kind of show you how this framework, whether you are an individual collector or a group, there we go, whether you're an affluent individual that, you know, jet sets from art fair to art fair and collects, or you're an institution that has kind of like a hierarchical setup to collecting, or whether you're a DAO, you all face the same problems. So those problems kind of go from acquisition, what do I buy, who do I buy it from, how do I buy it, how do I finance it, to the show and tell part, which is, do I exhibit it, do I curate it, do I create any other form of mediation, or do I just store it do I just store my culture that I collect in storage, to preservation. And preservation is an interesting one because, you know, in traditional art, museums and collections would have a swath of people that take care of their work and see to it that it survives time. with NFTs, you know, we actually back up everything we collect, not just on the blockchain, but also off-chain, because who knows what happens when the links breaks, right? On top of those collector-specific problems, you have a set of DAO-specific problems. So, you know, we've heard the previous panelists talk about this. You have kind of the tragedy of the commons, where you have many, many token holders, and probably the ones that have the smallest stake in the DAO are the loudest ones, and it's not necessarily the right way to go. You have valuation problems often, where earlier participants in DAOs are at a big advantage to later participants. You have this kind of quality versus quantity problem, where if you have a large group of people making decisions, it kind of goes all ways. So you want to find a way to make a decision that, you know, is kind of coherent and structured, especially when collecting. And then we like to say crypto is, you know, dog years. You work in an extremely high velocity environment, as you all know. And so you have to be able to make quick decisions to capture value. The solution to all these problems, especially on the DAO front, is actually that you separate ownership from execution. So we've heard a lot about sub-guilds on previous panels. Do we have another clicker? This is not really working. There we go. We've heard a lot about sub-DAOs, and we solve this problem this way. We have basically the token holders that are the DAO. They are the stewards of the ship. They kind of decide where the DAO goes. And then we have various sub-DAOs that actually do all of the execution. So the guilds specialize in their given subject. There's an art guild, there's a collectibles guild, there's a physicals guild that we're experimenting with. And the guilds, in turn, build networks to creators, which are very important for us. We kind of always work very intensely with everyone we're involved with. And creators sometimes actually propose their works to be entered into the DAO rather than us just buying them, where they get remunerated back with one-of-one tokens, so they kind of become the stewards of the ship again. So you have this kind of beautiful flight to quality, where you have great creators deciding on great curators, deciding on great creators. And I just want to give you a couple of quick examples of what we do for the people we work with, people and projects we work with, actually. Okay. One of the projects that we're doing is we do a lot of exhibitions. So we kind of partially own People's Human One, for example, which is on museum tour worldwide. Right now, it's standing at Castello di Rivoli in Turin, and is going on a worldwide exhibition tour. We are currently, this is around the corner, so I encourage all of you to go have a look, doing a fundraiser auction for MAPS. MAPS is the Multidisciplinary Association for Psychedelic Sciences. We're doing an exhibition with Christie's. The auction is running this week. Many of the artists we work with regularly are in that auction. And then, you know, we do kind of like, we procure conference slots for people we work with. We do smart contract work for the metaverse guilds, the metaverse projects we work with. And I would really love to show you the next couple of slides, because there you actually get an idea of what the collection actually is. But not gonna happen, I guess. So long story short, we believe that to create a great collector's DAO, you have to separate execution from ownership, and you have to actually create human networks in order to maximize on the collection that you have. Go check out the collection. It's well worth it. If you are a curator in any subject, come talk to us. We'd love to talk about new sub-DAOs and new guilds. And otherwise, you know, give us a follow on Twitter, oneofone.works. You'll find it if you look for it. Thank you very much.